The desert morning returns like a warm hand pressed gently against your cheek. Egypt is wide awake again, linen rustling on clotheslines, merchants raising their wooden shutters, ibis birds stalking along the Nile's edge like cranky old librarians. You step into the marketplace just as the first bustle begins, that familiar hum of bargaining voices and clinking bronze. But today, you're not here for papyrus, bread, or trinkets, no. Today you're here for the most unexpectedly hilarious chapter of ancient Egyptian innovation. Beauty routines powered by timekeeping, and timekeeping influenced by beauty routines. You pass a stall where a woman grinds malachite into shimmering green powder for eye paint. Beside her, two teenagers argue over the exact shade of black coal that will make their eyes properly falcon-like. But it's the next stall that makes you stop short, because the scent wafting from it is unmistakable. Rich, sharp, and absolutely terrible. Crocodile dung. Fresh Point two ladies sit patiently, heroically, while an elderly beauty artisan mixes the stuff with a flour-like powder to create what she proudly calls her premium anti-sun salve. She smears it evenly across their arms and faces. Keeps the sun away, she declares, and keeps the skin pale and blessed. You do your best not to gag, the woman receiving the treatment beams. This way, she says, I don't burn when I lose track of Ra's climb across the sky. You blink. Wait, she's wearing sunscreen because she's bad at telling time? The artisan nods knowingly. Some shadows lie, she says, especially when you gossip too long. You realize she's serious. This is crocodile dung-based time insurance. You thank the gods for modern sunscreen. A little farther down the sun-soaked lane, the timing fashion connection becomes even more ridiculous. A group of young men pass, each wearing robes with uneven sun-bleached streaks running down their sleeves. They look like they've been hugged by a very determined, stripe-loving tiger. One of them catches you looking. He lifts his chin proudly. Night watch stripes, he says. It shows I spend my days outside timing the shadows. It is a prestigious tan. Oh, a sundial tan. A literal sundial tan. You grin. Humans have always loved a little fashion flex. You wander deeper into the market, where scents of roasting barley and honey pastries mix with the desert heat. Everywhere, you notice the way timekeeping has crept into vanity. A hair braider shouts to her apprentice, 3 strands per minute. Stay on pace. A perfume seller insists her lotus-scented oil is perfectly aged, 12 hours in moonlight, no less. And a linen merchant measures fabric not just in cubits, but in sun-stretch moments. Whatever those are. You finally stop at a stall where a sunburnt priest is selling, of all things, portable sundials. Little wooden ones, carved with the precision of someone who rarely leaves the shade. He gestures you over. You see this one? He says, picking up a disc etched with hieroglyphs. This is for priests who must maintain even tans. It tells you exactly which angle to face the sun during rituals. You're speechless. He presses another into your hand. This model helps farmers avoid embarrassing forehead burns. And then, in a hushed voice, this one? For lovers. It helps them sneak time together in private gardens without returning home with suspicious tan lines. You choke back a laugh. The priest continues, showing you miniature sundials shaped like fish, falcons, and tiny pyramids, each more absurdly specific than the last. He clearly takes great pride in them. You admire the craftsmanship, the dedication, the commitment to both timekeeping and not looking scorched. But the prize for the most time-obsessed beauty routine is waiting just around the corner. Near the center of the marketplace, a crowd has gathered around a pair of noble women being shaded by palm leaf fans. Their skin is pale as sand-polished bone, covered head to toe in a thick, powdery paste that flashes faintly with flecks of mica. They glitter like freshly minted coins. What are they doing? You whisper to a nearby boy. He shrugs. Trying to look like the moon again. Another passerby leans in. It's fashionable this month. They say those who resemble the moon glow longer under the stars. Also, their astrologer claims it stops wrinkles. Moon-worshipping anti-wrinkle routines. Of course, you realize suddenly that ancient Egyptians treated beauty not merely as decoration, but as a reflection of cosmic order. If time, the stars, and the sun ruled life, then fashion had to cooperate. Beauty was a kind of celestial etiquette. You stroll on, amused, until the heat pushes you toward a shaded courtyard where a group of women sit beside an ornate sundial built directly into the paving stones. They're comparing arm tan lines the way athletes compare medals. Ah, one woman shouts triumphantly. Look how sharp my hour line is. The shadow is crisp. I held still for a full half hour. Another scoffs. Half hour? Child's play. Mine is perfectly aligned with the third hour of daylight. A third woman steps forward, rolling her shoulders dramatically. Her arm displays a flawless gradient marking the rising hours from morning to high noon, like a timeline printed on human skin. The others gasp. She basks in their admiration. I trained, she admits modestly. 3 summers. You laugh quietly. Somewhere in the afterlife, RA is watching all this with enormous amusement that a vendor behind you sighs. People care more about shadow fashion than actual timekeeping, he grumbles. I made a very accurate sundial last month. No one bought it. They said it cast unflattering angles. Angles, you repeat. He nods. Bad for the jawline. Of course. Sundials as beauty lighting. The world is a circle. A bit farther north in the marketplace, near a pottery stall, you finally encounter your favorite absurdity of the day. A group of apprentices wearing small clay cups tied to their belts, water clock miniatures that drip onto the ground as they walk. Each drip marks the minutes of their daily chores. One apprentice notices your confusion. It stops our masters from saying we take too long fetching things, he says proudly. If the cup empties before we return, we get scolded. But if not, look. He points to another apprentice whose cup has leaked a slow trail of droplets behind him, like a snail made of time. That one will get extra lunch, he whispers. You stare. Portable wearable water clocks, the first ancient productivity trackers, and probably the first water stains ever blamed on punctuality. Still, there is something charming in all this. Ridiculous, yes, but charming, because beneath the crocodile creams, the sunstripes, the star-aged perfumes, you can sense a deeper truth. The Egyptians weren't just obsessed with beauty or time. They were obsessed with harmony. The rhythm of the sun, the pace of seasons, the hours marked by dripping water, even the glow of the moon. Everything was part of one vast, cosmic choreography. To live beautifully was to live in tune with the universe. Eventually, as the shadows shorten and the heat rises, you leave the marketplace behind. The laughter, the scents, the shimmering powders, all of it fades into the soft rustle of palm fronds and distant chatter. You feel lighter somehow, as if the absurdity has loosened some ancient knot inside you. Time, it turns out, doesn't always march. Sometimes it giggles, and sometimes it wears crocodile sunscreen. You smile and continue your walk, ready for the next chapter of Egypt's long, inventive dance with time.